Baker is already playing with a chip on his shoulder this year. He wanted a contract extension. Apparently him and the team were far off. He's taking notes and ready to silence the doubters. Take a listen.
I think we're going to shock a lot of people this year, and so I'm excited to just get on the road and do that. There's no embellishing. I think you can't avoid it. There's the TVs everywhere. I think everybody's confident. Yeah. Hell yeah, I am. Everybody's picking us probably to have a losing record, so we'll see.
I don't know that everyone's done their picks yet. How does Baker know? It's not even predictions week time. But Geoff, do you like Baker's optimism?
You should be optimistic as a player. I agree with Greg. Like, everyone thinks this time of year they're winning a championship. Whether they know it or not, they think they're going to win a championship. I love his vision. I love his energy. I love the way he plays. But they're on the downslide. Look at the way that last year ended. Started 6-2, went 2-7 to end the year. Baker Mayfield's numbers dropped off. Really, turnovers became really high. Now, they had injuries, of course. But I was trying to think about, do we all agree that Todd Bowles on the hot seat?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely
Okay. The last 2 years, hot seat coaches. Brian Daboll, gone. Gannon, gone last year, right? Stefanski, gone. Raheem Morris, gone. McDaniel, gone. 2024, Saleh, gone. Daboll survived. Eberflus, your guy, gone. Peterson, gone. And Mike McCarthy, gone. Like, this has not gone well with a coach that we think's on the hot seat and a team that won't commit to their quarterback, right? They will not commit to Baker Mayfield long term. I think they sort of know where this is going after this season. So I love the enthusiasm from him, but they're refreshing guys on defense. And I think Ruben Bain's going to be good. I think Trotter's going to be good, but they're still young, right? They have to avoid the injuries on offense. And is Baker Mayfield going to regain some of that form that we saw really the first half of last season? I don't buy it. I think the Panthers are better in that division. I don't love the Falcons. I think the Saints can win some football games this year as well. So coach on a hot seat, right? Quarterback they don't really want to pay for long term. Quarterback a little older, coming off injury, redoing a little bit of the roster shuffling. I'm not high on the Bucs this year.
I'm not sure if the Panthers are just better. I know they won to get in and all the things. They were the playoff team and represent that division. But in that division, like, if I'm Baker Mayfield, of course I feel like this. Why not? And a lot of this is stemming probably from him not getting the extension and getting the money that he feels like the contract that he feels like he's deserving. But also, he's been in that locker room. He's been on that side of the offense where, they didn't have a great running game. They had injuries galore. And now you kind of press the reset button to a degree, and you have a motivated Baker Mayfield. We've seen motivated Baker. And when Baker Mayfield is motivated and he's playing for a contract, he is a problem. Simply put, his first year in Tampa, he was playing to prove that he was a starting quarterback in this league and he can be the face of a franchise, which happened to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he did it. I mean, glowingly, with no questions asked. And so now his back is against the wall once again, and he's saying, well, you gave me a couple weapons offensively. You give me Gainwell, who can catch out of the backfield, who can run the ball, give Bucky Irvin a spell. You gave me a young guy in Emeka Ibuka, who I've established a relationship with. He's probably going to be your number one guy. I still got older veterans in there. Ted Hurst, he's been talking about him and his progression over the course of offseason and training camp. So there is a level of excitement that you should have if you're Baker Mayfield. And more importantly, he is betting on himself once again. And when Baker has bet on himself, he has won. So I get it. Defensively, we don't know what they're going to look. Offensively, I think they're going to be just fine.
I also think that Baker's optimism or cockiness, because he doesn't shy away from that label either.
Never
right?
has.
Since he planted the flag in college.
Never has.
I think quarterbacks still have to be cocky, right?
No,
you can't win unless they're cocky.
Listen, man, I've known you a long time.
Yeah.
You know I'm saying cocky as a compliment.
Yes.
Like I like
it's great.
I like the swagger. It galvanizes a locker room. It galvanizes a team. I think in this case it is a little make-believe, and we've seen athletes do it before. Like, you see that right there on the bottom? Buccaneers, favorites to win the NFC South. He's like, no one believes in us. It's like, no, you're actually the odds-on favorite to win your division. Now, you're not like a minus 200 favorite. You're still, you'd still take the field over them. But regardless, like, you are the favorites to win that division. People could pick the Saints or the Falcons or whoever, or the Panthers, whoever you like. But also, 2 years ago, Baker was excellent, right? It was 4,500 yards. It was excellent. Last year, he started excellent. If such a thing exists as an MVP conversation through 6 weeks, and I know on this show it does with Bruce Ballot and sports television in general, but like, He was 5-1
Yes.
with 12 touchdowns against 1 turnover. He was the 3rd favorite for the MVP. And look at who he had beaten. He won that unbelievable 38-35 shootout with the eventual Super Bowl champion Seahawks, and a couple of other playoff teams in the Niners and the Texans, including a Texans team that by the end of the year we were like, oh, that's the best defense in football. So his optimism of, hey, if we're healthy and you add in Zach Robinson from the McVay tree, the in vogue offense of the NFL that in theory should make everything a little bit easier for the offense, like Baker's optimism is earned. Even if you are skeptical of it, it doesn't surprise me at all that he's carrying it that way because he has real data that he can point to.
He does have real data to point to, and how much do we believe the end of last season will carry over this year is the big question, right? Was it just a product of Mayfield being injured, which he certainly was? I mean, I watched that documentary on Netflix. I love Baker Mayfield's fantastic to root for. Like, he's easy to root for. The way he plays the game, his energy, his passion. He was beat up. We saw that through that show. They had some injuries last season at wide receiver, injuries at offensive line.
And he was playing through it.
He was playing through it, as you do. I mean, plenty of guys play hurt, but he was playing through it as well. Greg, do you think that downslide is sort of the backside of his career, or that just was a blip? Because he's getting older now, too.
See, I think it was a blip. We saw this type of downslide when he was in Cleveland. He played through injury. He was betting on himself, but he wanted to show his guys that I'm here for you. I'm going to play. I'm going to be loyal to this organization. I'm going to do everything I can to provide my services. And it hurt him. In Cleveland, it hurt him then. And it hurt him this year as well. And sometimes I think to a fault, Baker is such a competitor, he feels like I got to be out there for my guys, even sometimes, and in this instance, to his detriment. But I think just like when we look at teams and we say, man, they had a great regular season last year. Do you think that'll carry over? And we'll get into some teams today. Every season is new.
Correct.
So it doesn't matter if you end the season.
Positive momentum or negative momentum is something that we talk about. It doesn't really exist.
It's not a real thing that exists unless you just know that teams are, getting rid of everybody and they're just starting over. Then we have expectations and realistically, to a degree, that team's not going to really be a competitor. This team, though, they're not just selling. They're trying to win. They have a quarterback that is fired up, that feels slighted by the organization. Meanwhile, within the organization, you got everyone saying, well, he's been great. He's been getting here at 4 a.m. He's been doing everything. He's more focused than I've ever seen him. But you won't give him an extension?
Isn't that a problem, though? Aren't they telling you how they feel about Baker Mayfield without giving him that money?
No, I don't know if they're telling us how they feel about just Baker Mayfield, or they want to see what they look like this year. And see if what you're saying is real. Okay, are we gonna just turn this thing upside down and start over? Or do we have a real chance because Baker is actually legitimate?
Also, and this is not how you should pick division winners because it is a team game, but he's the best quarterback in the division still, right?
He is.
Yes.
I'm not willing to put Bryce Young above him yet.
He's not there yet.
It's clearly not Tua or Penix.
We're gonna see what Tyler Shough looks like this year.
I know. Listen, Tyler Shough was very.
He's gonna be.
He was productive.
He's gonna be. Yeah, he might be. We'll see.
We'll see. But I think everybody at this table would agree that Baker's the best quarterback in the division.
Correct. So picking the Panthers to win sort of breaks my rule about picking the best quarterback in the division to win. That typically is the way it works out. It didn't work that way last year, even in this division. He's the best in this division. If he plays up to what he's been, they can certainly get back to where they want to be. I'm curious what needs to get done this season for them to re-sign him. Is it 9-8 division win, or is it 11-6?
No, it's a good question. I don't know if it's more tied to his stats or playoff wins. Because I would think if he did what he did 2 years ago,
you got to.
I think you'd have to pay him in that way, even if they didn't win in the playoffs. But yeah, if it is tied to playoff wins, then there might not be anything that he can really realistically do. Let's go to New England, where they won plenty of playoff games last year. They're trying to put their Super Bowl 60 loss to the Seahawks behind them. They do have to play them, though, week 1, so rearview mirror also in front of them. Mike Rice weighed in on how they're going to respond, writing, quote, "A lot has happened since then. It set the stage for the question many are asking. Are the Patriots primed to succumb to a tougher schedule, or will Vrabel's relentless commitment to establishing team identity deliver another surprising run to the Super Bowl?" All right, Greg, is it more likely that the Patriots reach the Super Bowl or miss the playoffs?
Miss the playoffs. Sorry, Wilds, if you're listening. These are facts. Like,
so the odds say, of course, they are facts, right? They're 7.5 to 1 to make the playoffs, and it's like 2 to 1 that they miss. So, the odds are, of course, in your favor.
Yeah, look, I believe this to be a really good team. Did their schedule prove to be favorable? Possibly, yeah. But once they got into
no,
hold on. Let me finish.
It was the easiest schedule of the 21st century.
Once you get into the postseason, then the schedule is null and void now. Did they win those games?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Bo
So
broke his ankle.
they confirmed that they were a good team once they got into the postseason. They ended up getting to the Super Bowl. We're not going to say the Buffalo Bills or Denver Broncos. I get it. Injuries happen, just like the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
All the teams. It doesn't matter. Once you get in, it's about can you actually be what we all kind of think you are, but maybe you're not. But this team, I don't think they're getting back. 6 teams in NFL history have lost the Super Bowl and made it back. 3 of them have won, 3 of them have lost. Those 6 teams are historic teams.
Yeah.
Like this, I don't believe is a historic team. Now, they have a lot of potential. They're very young. It takes a lot to get back. It takes a rebooting, a resetting. I don't know if they have that based on their schedule this year and then trying to go through that thick conference of AFC guys.
You talk about schedule. I look at quarterbacks you play more than like strength of schedule, like whatever year was last year. Let's look at who they played last year and look at who they played this year. Like this is the problem, right? Is you're playing a schedule now that is just going to be that much more difficult for you this season. Have they improved as much as we think with the roster? Because you either get better or you get worse, right? You don't want to stay in the middle. Are they much better this year than they were last season, now playing where they had Lamar, Baker, and Josh Allen twice last year, right?
Yeah.
This year, they have Darnold, Lawrence, Goff, Mahomes, Caleb Williams, Love, Herbert, Allen twice. That doesn't include, by the way, Kyler Murray, end of the season, maybe he's playing very well, and Bo Nix, end of the season for the Broncos. Like they play, 3 times as many quarterbacks this season? Is the defense as good as we think it is? Offensively, right? Does A.J. Brown make this offense that much better than it was last year? I think he will, because they need a deep threat. The offensive line, where's the offensive line at right now through the early part of training camp? Like there's questions I have, and when you play that many quarterbacks like that, let's say you split that schedule right there, right? That gives you what? At max 9 wins, 10 wins? Like they're not going to be as good this season.
Jeff, I think one of the things that you're missing, like you got to put Drake May on that then.
Absolutely.
Because the other teams that are playing them are like, okay, you got to play Drake May. And he's no slouch. Like he has proven that he can play at a high level throughout the course of a season. So as much as I agree with you, yes, they're playing better quarterback play. The teams that are playing against them, they're playing a better version of their offense, and hopefully he'll take another step with those receiving weapons that he acquired.
So, again, as the gambler on the show, with respect to Jeff also being a gambler on the show, it's nice to have you out here, buddy.
Thanks.
Like if there was $20 on the table and you said you get to pick it up, miss the playoffs or make the Super Bowl, clearly the odds would be in favor of missing the playoffs. I understand that. But I tried to do the exercise before the show of finding 7 AFC teams that I could see making the playoffs and having New England out. It's hard to see, man.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Like they're good. They are just legitimately good. Do you know how many of their draft picks are expected to start? 0. Like every draft pick is a depth piece. That is the sign of a
really good team.
Really good team. They added A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs for a quarterback who is the runner-up to Matt Stafford for MVP in a really, really close vote. Drake May is awesome. Their coaching staff is awesome. I understand what you're doing with the quarterbacks that they have to face on the schedule, but they also still get to play the Dolphins twice.
And the Jets twice.
They get to play the Jets twice. Like that should be 4 wins. I have a very hard time seeing this team missing the playoffs.
Who are your AFC teams?
Well, I mean, listen. So predictions week's coming up in a little bit, but like Bills and Patriots.
The 3 teams out west.
Right? In terms of like who can make it? Yeah, sure. Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos can make it. Yeah. That would be 5. Ravens and Bengals, I think, can make it. That's 7. And then AFC South.
You need someone.
You need someone. And listen,
but I mean, they got viable teams now.
Texans, Colts, Jaguars could make it. So like, I think that's 10 teams for 7 spots. Yeah. Like off the top of my head, I don't think Pittsburgh I would put in that group. But so that's 7 teams for 10 spots. I think New England is in.
Yeah.
I think they are in the playoffs this year because I think
you-
Drake May is awesome.
Okay, so getting back to the question, I know.
Right. So I'm sort of saying, like, I don't want it to be clipped because I know the odds are. Seriously, but like, I don't think they're missing the playoffs. I don't.
I agree with. I do agree with that.
So therefore, let's put it. I would rather bet them to win the AFC than I would bet them to miss the playoffs. Like, I absolutely think this team can go back to the Super Bowl. What's the weakness? Left side of their offensive line?
The offensive line is a question mark.
Left side of their offensive line. And
Yeah.
Drake May took a ton of sacks last year, and his sack rate did not improve like Caleb Williams's from year 1 to year 2. So like Drake takes a bunch of sacks.
And some of that is on him. It's not just on the offensive line.
Yeah.
When we
Thank
watch
you.
the play.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Someone had to say that on national TV. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
They always
but I
blame
mean-
us.
It was clearly evident. Like, he holds the ball
Yeah,
longer than what
too
he
long,
should.
yes.
He needs to get rid of it. But I think, again, if we're talking about Caleb and some of these other quarterbacks taking a step, he's watching film on himself. He has to correct that. He understands that.
I think that they are the most obvious better team, worse record. Like they're
Absolutely.
not gonna win 14
No.
games, but I do think they are better than last year. You add Romeo Doubs and A.J. Brown to that team, you don't lose a ton. The pieces that you lost, you replaced. Like I think they are a
definitely got better
very solid
that
roster.
side of
That if they win 11 or 12 games this year, it's like, oh, did they take a step back? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Them and the Bears are the two teams that will be better with worse records. I'm sorry to bring the Bears up, but like they're the two that I think are better with the worst records. Their schedules are just much tougher, which
Yeah.
happens in the NFL.
I mean, Jacksonville's a candidate for that. Denver's a candidate
I was
for
gonna
that.
say
Denver, for sure.
The Bears, the Patriots. There's a lot of teams that are candidates for it, but I don't see the Patriots missing the playoffs. Let's go to L.A. We had some news today. Chargers center Tyler Biadasz, we hinted at this yesterday, out indefinitely, suffered an ACL injury during yesterday's joint practice with the Niners. Now, the Chargers signed Biadasz to a 3-year, $30 million deal this offseason, so it's a tough start for him. Jeff, as our resident offensive lineman here, how big of a deal is this for Herbert?
This video, put the video back. That video really bothers me because this is a very avoidable injury, right? And you have to learn in the NFL how to practice properly. That's a big part of being in the NFL. And I think those veterans, there are veterans, not Joe Alt, but they have veterans on that left side of that Chargers offensive line. There's also the issue I have a little bit with joint practice. They probably aren't throwing their own guys on the ground when they're not having joint practice. But you cannot throw guys on the ground in the line of scrimmage.
So you're saying that that is on his player who threw the opponent into him.
Don't throw guys on the ground in practice. In a game, I get it, it's going to happen. But in practice, just hold the guy up. If he's out of control on defense, grab him, hold him up. Part of being a pro is learning how to practice properly. There's another reason we don't get joint practice soliloquy now, but like that wouldn't happen if they're playing the Chargers, in my opinion. They'd hold the guy up. Nonetheless, look, they brought in Biadasz because their center position was the worst in the NFL last year. Like, it was atrocious. When you watch them play last year, the center was bad in everything he did. He wasn't good at anything. They brought in Biadasz to make that happen. Obviously now not good. Now they did draft a guy from Florida this year, Jake Slaughter, who's going to have to play immediately now, clearly. And this is why, by the way, I think you draft for best player available. Like, they didn't need a center, they just got a center. But now they have a center to play. Like, this is why teams, I think, that are best suited all the time to draft the best player available on your board. You never know when you need him. But this is a veteran guy. I mean, Biadasz is a good football player. He's been with a lot of quarterbacks. It's a problem. He's not there. Now, Slater should be back soon. We know Alt's back. So the offensive line is going to be better, but I still think it's a loss. And the Chargers just, every year they have these losses, man.
So it's clearly a loss. I'm not as concerned because of what I saw them able to overcome last season.
Yes.
And you talk about literally your cornerstones of your offensive line and your 2 tackles. You don't have them, and you still found a way to make the playoffs, make the postseason. You lost your running back. There was a lot of things that were going against this team. With a young center that you're talking about that they drafted, you draft him. The reason why it's not as concerning for me is because he doesn't take on any of those pressures of, I got to ID what's going on. I got to get it in the right protection. You have a very capable Justin Herbert to do that. He's a veteran guy. He's clearly going to be calling an ID and protection and, the pressures and all that, taking that pressure off a young center. Obviously, Biadasz is he is a loss. And so I don't want to undervalue that. However, when you have a veteran quarterback and a young center, I would rather it be that way than have a young center and a young quarterback. Now you're in trouble.
And so, hold on a second, because I can hear in my ear buzzing Nick Wright from Europe being like, here comes the excuses for Justin Herbert.
You didn't make
and all
them.
these people.
I didn't.
No, from me. The Herbert. All the people on the internet flashing that meme of him like a superhero with the if. He's the if quarterback. If this, he would do it. If this. I want to be very clear. Where am I looking? Nothing changes for Justin Herbert. The expectation is still be an MVP caliber player and win multiple playoff games. But I feel for Chargers fans because it feels like deja vu all over again. It feels like 2022 when Rashawn Slater tore his biceps. It feels like 2023 when Corey Linsley, their Pro Bowl center, played 3 games and it was like a heart issue out of nowhere. Feels like last year with Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt both going down. So obviously losing Tyler Biadasz on a 3-year, $30 million deal before the season so you can prepare for it is not the same as losing Joe Alt, a top 5 pick, and Rashawn Slater on a $114 million deal, 2 of your 4 highest paid players on the team. This obviously isn't that, but they're like, we had 10 different offensive line combinations last year. And we had problems the year before, and 3 years ago, and 4 years ago. So there is a little bit of a feeling around the Chargers that the protection for Justin Herbert is just straight up cursed. I don't believe in curses, but hopefully this is the only piece of bad news that they get in terms of protecting Justin Herbert, so it's not here we go again.
It is not an excuse for a lack of success this season.
It is not.
It's just a data point that the center is out, right? They have a rookie center in there. The one thing that's curious about this offense, though, is this offense does put a lot on the center. So I'm curious to see if they do change that with Herbert being a veteran and maybe some of the other guys help him out a little bit. But look, I mean, this is why you got to play young guys. You draft guys, you got to play them sometimes. And buddy, here you go. Here's your ball. Like, go play center.
And sometimes explanations are excuses. Or excuse me, excuses are explanations. I said that backwards. Like last year, they had 10 different offensive line combinations.
Correct.
The only guys sacked more than Justin Herbert were Cam Ward, who had no idea what he was doing, and Geno Smith, who turned in one of the worst quarterback seasons we've seen in the last 5 years. And Justin Herbert, who had 26 touchdowns and won 11 games, and like he had no help in front of him. So like last year, it reached a critical mass where it was an excuse that also explained the poor play. Tyler Biadasz losing out to an injury, that's not enough. They got to be able to overcome it. They got to be able to overcome it.
I'm kind of with Nick on this one. Because I don't want to hear the excuses either.
Tyler Biadasz does not raise to the level of excuse.
What has the potential to come up is
just bad news.
You know, they lost defensive coordinator Jesse Minter, so their defense is maybe not going to be. Don't do it.
I can't be any clearer. Nothing changes.
Okay.
The goal is still win multiple
Archive this clip.
But listen, man.
Archive this clip.
If tomorrow they're like, hey, Rashawn Slater's not coming back.
That's a
and
problem.
then the day after that, they're like, and now Lad Batonki's out. Like at some point,
That's
they can
an
reach a
issue.
critical
Yes.
mass.
Correct.
But right now, it's like, okay, bad news. But they'll be fine. Let's get back to football. This is one of those fun barbershop hypotheticals here. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow all still hunting for their first Lombardi trophy. Now, friend of the show, Drew Brees, was asked which one of the 3 is the most likely to get a ring. Here's his answer. Take a listen.
I'll start with Josh Allen because I mean, look, he's certainly a fan favorite. I'm a huge fan of him. I love the way he plays the game. I love the way he's evolved. I think as a player, you know, when he first came in this league, he was super raw, unbelievable talent, unbelievable athlete. Man, he's really playing the quarterback position at a high level. I was then going to go to Lamar Jackson. I was then going to go to Joe Burrow. Like I feel the same way about those guys as far as like what they mean to their teams, right? And to those franchises. The problem has been they all got to go through Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Take a stand, Breeze.
Please.
Greg, who is your pick of the 3? Not necessarily this year, but who will get their ring first?
Yeah, so I'm kind of looking at it like even this year, Lamar Jackson. And the reason why, and it's not just about the head-to-head to how I see these quarterbacks, because you've heard me mention, like, I feel like Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the game. Like, respect him. Joe Burrow, obviously, he's been there to the Super Bowl, been to the AFC Championship. He beat Mahomes. We all know that. But the reason why I say Lamar Jackson is because he has something now that I don't think the other two have, which is a head coach that has an emphasis on defense, and the talent on defense is already there, set, and really good. And what Jesse Minter's track record shows me and will show us is that he did it in LA with the Chargers in terms of turning that defense around. And when you look at the talent that's on this Baltimore Ravens defense, he's going to have this defense ringing right out the gate.
It feels like he has more talent
absolutely
in Baltimore than he did LA, but he had LA's defense outperforming Baltimore.
Yes, and so the reason why I say Lamar is because when you look at the history of the Baltimore Ravens, like, they just run the ball. Like, they've always been top 3 since 2018.
Until the playoffs.
Until the playoffs, but again, I'm equating that Jesse Minter is going to be a difference maker because of that defense. And so Lamar, I believe Lamar is going to be who Lamar's always been, regardless of how we feel about him in the postseason. You can say what you want. Josh Allen has been tremendous. Last year in that Denver game, he felt something when he missed the tight end wide open. Like, if that had been Lamar, we'd have been like, there goes Lamar again. Joe Cool has always been cool, but it's like, can they get back there? And sometimes when you make it as early as Joe Burrow and the Bengals did, you just think you're going to get back and you never have the opportunity to get back, and we know what that defense does not look like.
I'm picking Joe Burrow, even though I think they're maybe not as good as Baltimore on the roster. Don't love the coach, but as a fan of a team who plays Joe Burrow in the playoffs, they worry me the most of anybody. Joe Burrow has lost 2 playoff games in his career. He's only been twice, though, but he lost 2 of them.
Right. 2 trips to the playoffs, but he's 5-2.
Correct. And he lost on the final play of both those games, the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship game. He has proven in the postseason, if he gets there, that he can win at a high level. Now, they improved their defense, obviously, this year. I know a lot of people love them to go over their win total and potentially win division. We'll see if those things come to fruition. But when he is in the postseason, he has proven that he knows how to win these games. He makes clutch throws. He's super cool in the pocket. It's all those winning plays. You know, Josh Allen is a great quarterback, as we know. I think we all agree, best in the NFL. He's fumbled the ball 15 times in playoff games. He's only lost 5 of them, but 15 fumbles. Joe Burrow's fumbled the ball 0 times in 7 games. Like, Joe Burrow takes care of the football in those big moments. The if is always if they get to the postseason, if Joe Burrow makes it healthy. Now, because again, their offensive line, I don't love their offensive line. It's not as bad as people want it to be, but it's not great. The defense, we'll have to see how those guys play this year, but Dexter Lawrence is such a huge addition to that defense. They added guys at all 3 levels. So to me, it's Burrow because I've seen him do it. And as a fan, I worry about him the most. If I'm a Chiefs fan and we're playing Buffalo, Baltimore, or the Bengals, I worry most about the Bengals.
So I love this topic so much, and I'm going to pick Josh Allen. Like, so we're all like, I honestly think that this could be like a 60-minute podcast that at the end we'd be like, we all made some pretty good points.
Yeah.
Because I agree with everything you said about Jesse Minter and what he could do for the Ravens defense, and I agree that Burrow, he won in college, feels like when he gets into the big games, he's terrifying. But Josh Allen, he's 8-7 in his career in the playoffs. Lamar's 3-5 and Burrow's 5-2. That means that you add up Joe Burrow's games and Lamar's games, and you equal Josh Allen's games. Josh Allen always gets there. He's always there. He's always healthy. He always makes the playoffs. And generally speaking, he always plays well in the playoffs. Now, I know he had the 4 turnover game against Denver. I'm not writing that off. But in 3 of their last 5 playoff losses, they've allowed 29 points or more in those games. Like, sometimes he loses in shootouts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, whereas Lamar, I got real questions about whether or not Lamar is going to individually be good in the playoffs. And I got real questions about whether or not Joe Burrow is going to make the playoffs and be healthy.
Yes.
Like, both those guys have bigger injury issues, and he's not as good in the playoffs, and he doesn't always make the playoffs. So I would pick Josh Allen, but I could make cases for both of your guys too. Like, I think the Ravens are the best organization, and I think they might be the best offense. Like, it's a fun debate because they're all awesome players.
Does your opinion change about Buffalo, yes or no, because they made the coaching? It feels like the coaching change was made to get over the hump. We're not winning these games. There's many reasons why they haven't won these games. The 13-second game, obviously very famous, but they lost to Chiefs in divisional round, was it 2 years ago at home, missed a field goal, went a fake punt for no reason at wrong time. Last year it was a turnover. I thought they had to make a change. I put out there at the time after that Denver game last year, something had to change. Whether it was like a roster redo, whether it was a coaching, like something had to be different because they've been broken too many times over. So do you think Joe Brady is the right guy to get him there?
Listen, it's tough to know. I was thinking about this topic, obviously, since we decided on it, and it was like, all right, I don't love Zach Taylor,
right.
And I don't really know about Joe Brady or Jesse Minter.
Yeah.
Like, Jesse Minter, I completely agree with your analysis. He seemed to overachieve with the Chargers, but we have no idea if that'll carry over when he's a head coach. He's never done it before. Joe Brady, he was instrumental in
Josh Allen.
Allen, and then becoming more balanced in their offensive line. But we have no idea how he's going to be as a head coach because he's never done it before. It's weird that we can have 3 quarterbacks that are going to be Hall of Famers, that are going to be like era-defining players, and all of them are heading into this year where we're like, I don't know if any of them have an asset at head coach.
So one thing I will add is when you look at the Buffalo Bills, they've always had the easiest path, or Josh Allen, I'll say,
and now
has always had the easiest path versus these two who have to go head-to-head against each other and then try to beat Josh Allen and or Patrick Mahomes in the postseason, whereas Josh Allen has always, it's just easy path. Now, we'll see how it looks because the Patriots are for real. And they're not going to allow or afford Josh Allen to just cruise through that division every single year like he has been. So those 8 playoff wins and that guaranteed we're making the playoffs, I'm not saying that they're not going to make the playoffs, but it's going to be a little different.
Did you tip your hand with your predictions week there? Felt like you picking the Ravens?
No, it's not predictions.
You picking the Ravens this year?
It's not predictions week. I didn't know.
Felt like a little hand tipping.
I like that then.
All right. Week 1 is officially 3 weeks away. 3 weeks from today, we have real football, boys. The Seahawks will steal a page from Nick Wright's book and drop a banner in Seattle to open the season. Vegas giving them the 4th best odds to win it again. And this is very meta, Jeff. I'm going to ask the question.
Yeah.
Are we talking enough about the Seahawks' chances to repeat? We could just talk about their chances to repeat, but it's like, are we talking enough about it? But we're the people who talk about it.
No, we're not.
Okay.
And I think the reason why is they're in the Pacific Northwest. They're far away from everything, which is certainly true. But 2, I still think people sleep on Sam Darnold. I think that it comes down to it. He played great last year. Actually, the Super Bowl, he didn't play very well in that game. But I think we still look at Sam Darnold and think to ourselves, at best, he's what? The 10th, 12th best quarterback, somewhere around there. And people like me who like the Rams, I liked the Rams a lot last season. I like them again this year. You know, they were one flunky, weird 2-point conversion attempt away from having to go to Los Angeles for the NFC Championship game. Instead, they were the ones that got to host that game, right? So like a coin flip of a play that was reviewed there. I mean, it's the worst play of the entire season they ran. They scored 2 points on it, right? Like that could have changed the entire season. I think we look at the Rams being really good. The Seahawks, again, coin flip, they switched that game. Sam Darnold, but they're still a really well-coached team and a lot of good football players. They're going to be right back in the hunt again.
So I feel like a lot of my takes have been surrounded by coaching. And when I look at this Seahawks team, do I feel like we aren't talking about them enough? We're not. They are a really good team. And just like the Patriots, how we talked about them, can they make it? This is a team that definitely can make it back because of how they're configured from a roster standpoint and their head coach, really good head coach in Mike McDonald. However, when you lose a coordinator that afforded Sam Darnold to go from Minnesota and perform and look the way he looked, and then come to Seattle with Clint Kubiak and hit the ground running right away again, that's what gives someone like myself or outsiders a little bit of pause. It's not that I do believe Sam Darnold is a good quarterback.
Yeah.
But now it's like I got to see him do it again with Brian Fleury. And the way that offense looked and how they clicked, he and JSN. Now you don't have Kenneth Walker. You got Charbonnet coming off of injury. Like there's a lot of little small pieces, but the biggest piece that's gone is Clint Kubiak. And anytime you lose a play caller like that, it's going to impact you. And so for that reason, I think that's why there's not been a lot of talk about them.
Yeah. I don't know if the Kubiak departure is why we don't talk about it enough, but I think it's definitely a reason to doubt him. The Pacific Northwest and the Darnold thing is definitely a media literacy point. I would just say this, like, and you're correct about it. I would also say, like, they return a lot for a Super Bowl champion. Like, Clint Kubiak might be huge, but this is what they actually on the field return. Of the guys who started the Super Bowl, 20 of 22. Of their total touchdowns last year, 39 of 44. of their pressures and pass rush rate, 45 of 47. It's a remarkable amount of continuity for a team that was pretty dominant last year. Like they lost the 3-point game to the Bucs. They played the 3 games against the Rams to within 3 total points, and they steamrolled everybody else. Like they steamrolled the Niners in the playoffs. They steamrolled the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Like they were a dominant football team. So I don't think we are giving the idea of back-to-back championships enough credence because they're bringing back basically everyone who matters.
It is hard to do. It is just simply hard to do.
But if, to Jeff's point, like, if the Eagles or the Chiefs had played last season,
they'd be the favorite.
This is true.
Like the Seahawks had played it. Hey, you're going to be 14-3. You're going to be the 1 seed, and you're going to blow out the opponent in the Super Bowl, and you're going to return 20 of 22 starters and your head coach and your quarterback. They'd be the odds-on favorite, and they'd be in the A block every day.
Very true.
Like there is something to the geography of it.
Correct. And part of it is the Rams might be better, like on paper, than they are, and that's also why I think look at the Rams and say, look what they did with Myles Garrett, look at what they've done with Stafford, like look at what they've done with the entire roster. They might actually be better than the Super Bowl champions. The Kubi, I think, is a great point. I parallel that to Ben Johnson leaving Detroit. Detroit was like 10% worse last season on offense. Like it wasn't a lot. It was just enough to lose a few games. And if that happens in Seattle, they might not have the 1 seed, but now they're a wild card team. They're on the road. Like that is a big change to go from a guy that got that offense going to something else. And if it's not the same, it's going to fall back a little bit probably. But if it falls back like 20%, you're looking at a much different team.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.